What's going on, Big South family? Today's not been a good day. There's more developments in the Ariens Ikon 42 saga, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. If you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming by. I'm your host. My name is Brian, and you're watching. So what are we talking about? Well, as many of you know, I used to have a Craftsman Z6400. I ran that mower for 6 years, and when I sold it, it was still running, it was still mowing, but I wanted something newer. I wanted something that I felt would be heavier duty, and I sold it to a gentleman, and I bought this machine that I'm sitting on. It's an Ariens Ikon 42-inch cut. I bought this mower to basically do small areas of grass, to run about 6 hours a week, do small areas of grass, and go through small gates to cut backyards, so I wouldn't have to have a push mower or just cut the grass with a weed eater, trimmer, however you want to say it. Well, if you haven't seen the video, No One Told Me Beforehand, I'm Pissed, go check that video out. It's got 223,000 views because of this machine. It's a never-ending, what's the proper term it's a never-ending headache. Now, Ariens has seen my other video, and I'm going to be tagging them in this video, because I want them to step up to the plate. Everything that's going wrong with this machine is not a dealer problem, it is a manufacturer problem. I'm going to go through the steps, I'm going to go through everything that's going wrong with it that should not be with 143 hours on it. Now let me stop right there, and I'm gonna put some pictures of the Craftsman up as I talk. The machine you're looking at right now, I got it from a customer of mine. His dad passed away, and I needed a second machine. I needed a backup machine. And the family was going to be selling it, and they needed some lawn work done. So I'm just giving you some backstory of how I got the machine. So I told them I would do the work for the trade out of the machine, and they agreed. I took possession of the machine. It had 149 hours. And when I sold it, I say 6 years, it may not have been that long. It might have, matter of fact, it wasn't that long. It was 3 years, because I was using it during the time my big machine, my Gravely right over there on the trailer, was on order. It had not come in, so it was 3 years. And I put over 700 hours on that machine in 3 years. Now, that was a great machine. I never had any structural issues with it. I didn't have any wheel issues with it. The only issue I can honestly say that I had with that machine was the way the MTD had the spindles designed. They had the 4 ears coming out on the side of the spindle. Well, if you hit a hard object like a rock or a root and it was firm in the ground, the torque would shear the ears off of the spindle, and you'd have to replace it. The good thing was, I don't know why my hand's itching. The good thing is the spindles were only $39 each. So it was more of a hassle than it was an expense. But this machine is the biggest pile of junk I've ever owned in my life. And guys, those of you that are new to my channel, I've been doing lawn care, landscaping, and pressure washing for almost 25 years. And I can honestly say, the machine I started out with, it was a Craftsman DY5 deluxe yard tractor, DYT 5000. I bought it at from Sears in 2005. It was a 2004 model, but it was brand new. I ran that machine for 4 years. 4 years before I finally decided to make the move and buy a zero turn, which I bought a Gravely. Now, to help you understand, Gravely and Ariens is owned by the same company, Ariensco. The Gravely is their commercial line of machines, and the Ariens is they do have some Ariens that fall under commercial. This is a residential machine. Now, I know I'm doing a lot of talking, and you just gonna have to bear with me, because there's some information coming in this video you need to see and you need to hear. I do not recommend this machine to anyone. I don't care how little you're going to be using it. I do not recommend this machine to anyone. The only two things that are good about this machine is the engine and the transmission. That's it. And I'm not trying to be dogmatic. I'm not trying to be overly animated. I'm being honest. That's it. I would not. I'm going to take my glasses off because I want you to see my eyes. I would not take a truckload of these machines right here if you gave them to me. As a relative of mine once said, I wouldn't kick a bull in the butt for a truckload of them. Now I'm telling you, I'm going to be going over some things with you here in just a second to show you what I'm talking about, so you will understand the depth of the pissed off mood I'm in right now. And yes, Ariens, I am pissed off because you have decided, instead of fixing this problem, you're going to revamp it and make the new ones better instead of taking care of your current customers. And I am very, very unhappy. I paid almost $5,000 for a machine that will not even last until I get it paid off.
Holy crap.
And you'll see in just a second. And I hope that you watch this video. You'll see in just a second what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm going to put my glasses back on because the gnats out here are crazy. Having owned a machine, the Craftsman Z6400, that was made by MTD. Understand that. It was made by MTD. That's the same company that makes lawn tractors for Lowe's and Home Depot and all the other little box stores, like all the other box stores that sell those kind of machines. That's the same company that made the Z6400 Craftsman Zero Turn. I thought that buying an Ariens that was made by the same company that made Gravely, I was buying up. Oh no. This thing belongs in a trash heap. Now, Ariens, I'm just as sorry as I can be, but since our phone call, I have not heard word one from you about making this right. And I'm this close to swearing off of Ariens anything and going with a different company. Now, you heard what I just said. I'm this close to swearing off of Gravely. I've been with your company for 17 years. I'm unhappy. I am not a happy camper right now. Now, without further ado, I'm going to take the camera off the tripod. I'm going to move the tripod out of the way, and I'm going to take you on a little tour. And this is going to be a completely unedited video because I want you to know and I want you to see what's been going on. Firsthand, let's start off with the small stuff first. First of all, let's get rid of Granddaddy Longlegs there. Now, this machine, I'm sorry about the leaves that's been parked under the grapevine over there. But you see this safety switch right here? Let me get my finger right here. This is a safety switch. If this is not on the key, it will not turn on. This piece of metal right here, when you flip it down, it engages that safety switch right here and allows you to crank the machine up. Well, 2 to 3 times a week, I have to take a screwdriver and tap this down. I want you to look at the wear on that handle. Look at the wear on that handle. And guys, 143.9 hours. I had to take a rubber mallet and a screwdriver and tap down on this thing because the metal in this piece of steel right here is so flimsy, it bends upwards, and I have to tap it back down. Same thing on this side. I have to do the same thing over here. Now, the other thing is the seat design. Now, I was supposed to send a video directly to Ariens. I'm not going to do that. I think I'll get more response by putting this video on YouTube and letting you guys see. But before I go any further, I am going to leave the phone number to Ariensco in the description below. I'm going to turn the camera around here. Guys, I need you. I need your help. I need you to call Ariensco. I need you to contact them and tell them you've seen this video and you want to know why they won't step up to the plate and fix these problems. You know what I want? I want them to pay off this machine. Had to get some off the camera, sorry. I want them to pay off this machine and allow me to go buy a new machine. Because this thing is not, you'll see in just a minute, it is not going to hold up until I can get it paid off. It's going to be fell apart to the point I can't use it anymore. And I'm still going to owe money on it. And that should not be. So, let's get back to the festivities. This seat is absolutely a piece of garbage. Now, the seat here is very comfortable. It's not the best in the world, but it's comfortable. But I want you to look. I want you to look at the lack of quality in the material and the way they build these seats. This is plywood, guys. Plywood. You can see right there, plywood. Let me do this. Right there, plywood. For you to pay $4,500 for a mower, $4,500, this seat ought to be completely one piece. And if not that, you see, this won't even go back together. You see how much I'm pulling on this? And it will not go back together. The reason why is because these flimsy... Okay, stop. Language warning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You've been warned. This flimsy ass connection system right here will not stay together. You got this piece of plastic here, and then you got this piece of plastic here, that this lip is supposed to go up inside here, and it won't hold. And when it comes apart, this draws up in the heat, and now it won't go down. And now the plywood is exposed to the elements, to the weather, and it will not come down. You cannot fasten it anymore. Now, I have tried to be understanding, but the couple of things I'm fixing to show you, I'm done with this machine. I'm going to repair this machine, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to park it, and it is going to be strictly a backup machine. For if a day comes that I need an extra mower, that one of my mowers is not running, I'm going to put this one on the trailer instead. But now let me show you something. I have greased the bearings inside this right here countless times. They won't, number one, the grease won't stay in them. It runs out. And number two, there's only 4 ball bearings in that thing right there. That's it, 4. And they all dance down to the bottom. And then when they do, this is the result. Look at that tire. Look at it. It's rubbing the steel right there. Same thing on the other side. I'm not going to show you the other side because there's something on the other side I want you to see. And if I show you the tire, you're going to see it prematurely. And I don't want that to happen. Now, These parts here are good. They don't seem to have any problems. But this, and another thing, I don't know where they got these tires from, but these tires are junk. You hit a sidewalk with them. Now I want you to look how the fork is bent. The reason why it's bent is when you hit a sidewalk with it, and when I say hit, I don't mean running full speed. I mean, my God, the machine won't run but 5.5 miles an hour. When I say hit a sidewalk, I mean you come up to it and you just crawl up on top of the sidewalk. Well, no matter how hard you have these tires, when you come up to it, this flips around this way and it hits this. You see right here where the sidewalk has hit, and it breaks the bead on the rim. It will not stay inflated. We were on a job last week, and a man that lives next door to where we were, and this tire popped the bead when I pulled up onto the sidewalk. And he just happened to be outside, and he had a rigid battery operated, cordless battery operated, however you want to say it, tire inflator, and he allowed me to use it so I wouldn't have to load back up and go to a place to air up the tire. Because then I would have had to take it off and roll it to get the bead to take air so it would pop back in place. But I was able to lift the machine up. Nate put air in it, and we were able to spin it and get it to take the air again. Now, let me move on to the next part, because it only gets worse from here. Let me see. Oh, the back tires. Because this machine is so light, the back tires have the wrong tread on them, and you can't get traction for nothing. You go to turn and all it wants to do is spin. And I'm talking on flat ground, guys. I'm not talking on a hill. I'm talking about on flat ground. Now, the other thing I want to point out, let me see, I might be able to get it better from this side. My Craftsman Z6400 had the same type of brake system. You see that cable right there? Well, it leads back to that little brake right there that's got the teeth on it. Right there. Well, the problem with this thing is I have sprayed that cable. I've sprayed it with WD-40. I've sprayed it with PB Blaster. I've sprayed it with white lithium grease, and I've sprayed it with graphite. Doesn't matter. That brake hangs up because you pull this in, and that cable doesn't move. I don't know why, but the cable does not move. It's moving right now. Well, it didn't that time. It's not moving now. And when that happens, this brake sprocket, whatever you want to call it, it gets hung up, and you have to literally jerk the handles back and forth like this gently. Now, I'm not talking like this. I'm not just wiggle it like that to get that brake to release. On a almost $5,000 mower, that should not happen. Now, what else can I show you that, well, I'll show you the deck. Now, you look at this. This is Ariens, and I know they're going to see this video, so I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to be ugly. This is their design. This is their idea for a bagging system. Well, I don't know about y'all. I've been in business for 24 years, almost 25 years. I have till yet to use a bagger. The only thing, a gnat went up my nose. Let me turn the camera around. The only thing I've ever used a bagger on is a push mower. A walk behind, whatever you want to call it. That's the truth. I don't use baggers. 90% of people down here in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, we don't use baggers. Because we're smart. We don't need to bag. I can mow I'm at my office right now. I can mow the grass at my office, and when I get through, you can't even see a clipping. So, I don't know I told them when I had the phone call with them, and you can go back and watch that video. I'll put a link in the description below for every video I've made on this Ariens. This is number 3. And the title is absolutely reasonable. I am beyond pissed about the condition of this machine. No more hours than it has on it. Now I'm going to get back on I'm going to put the camera back on the tripod, and I'm going to sit down a minute, and I'm going to talk to you for just a second, and then I'm going to show you the last thing. You ain't going to believe it. Okay, a couple of things. When a person, whether they're doing commercial work, residential work, whatever, they buy a machine, they expect the machine to hold up. Whether they pay cash for it, whether they finance it or what, they expect it to hold up. This machine will not hold up to any kind. I don't care if you're a homeowner and you're only going to be mowing your grass once a week, and you're going to be cutting an acre with it or a half acre with it. It's not going to hold up. You're going to start having the little issues with the bearings and the handles. And I mean, look how loose these handles are. These handles should not be this loose with it. It's only got 143 hours on it. My Craftsman that I showed you the pictures of, and I'll put another one right here, that Craftsman did not have loose handles. They were very snug and they were very tight. And it was built by MTD. And it was twice the mower. It was 3 times. It was 5 times the machine, the build quality that this one is. Now, Ariens, you got to do something. As I said in the beginning of the video, I want you guys, I'm going to leave the number for Ariens in the description below. I need you guys to call them, and I need you to tell them you saw Big South Outdoor TV's latest video on the Ariens. And they need to step up to the plate. They need to contact me, and they need to make an offer to buy this machine back, because it is a piece of crap. Now, I haven't showed you the latest development, but I'm fixing to. But one thing I wanted to point out, when you buy a piece of machinery, it is supposed to lessen your stress. It is supposed to remove stress, because you know your day is going to go smoother. You're not going to have breakdowns. You're not going to have issues. You're not going to have issues. You're not going to have little petty things that you got to stop every single solitary day and work on the job. I lose sleep every night wondering what shoe's going to drop with this thing the next day. Now, guys, that's the truth. I lose sleep over this machine. That should not be. Now, today is Saturday. It is October 28th, I think. I'm not sure the date, so don't quote me on that. But today is Saturday. Yesterday we were on a job, and Nate comes rolling over to the trailer. Nate is on the phone with a friend of his right now. He come rolling over to the trailer, and I was way out in the field with the big machine. He was cutting a small area of grass in the lady's backyard. And he was jumping up and down and waving like this. When I got up there, he said, "We're in a mess." And I said, "What?" He said, "I hate this mower." He said, "I literally hate this mower." And I said, "Nate, what's wrong?" I got off I cut the gravely off, locked the brake, got off of it, and I walked around and I looked. And guys, I lost it. I could have recorded this video yesterday, but in all honesty, I had to cool down. Because if I had made this video then, I would have said some things I would have been sorry for. And I had to collect myself. I had to think through what I was going to say. I'm not rehearsed. There's no script. There's no teleprompter behind you that I'm reading off of. I'm looking at you straight on the camera. And I had to cool down. Because if I didn't, I could have gotten in trouble. But I'm gonna leave the camera rolling because I want you to know this is all. There's no edit here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to shadow so you won't see it until the last second what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to come around this way, and I'm going to show you this side of the deck. Okay, here is the deck support right here. It connects there, that's fine. It comes up here, and this piece wraps around, and then it's connected right here. Well, I want you to look at this side. Same thing here. You see it's laying down. Look, that piece of steel broke.
Spinning me into a dimension of pissed off I have never been in before in my life.
There's no rust on it, so it has not been broke for a long period of time. It just snapped. Now, I don't know if you know anything about mowers or not, but when you can look at the deck and tell it's not hit anything, you see that? That scuff right there is probably 2 months old, but you look at the deck. Look at here. There's no mark on the deck where the bottom of it hit, right in line with this. There's nothing, there's no damage to it at all. Nate said he was mowing. He heard a pop, but he didn't know it. The mower kept going, so he wasn't aware of what happened. And he said he got off the machine, grabbed the weed eater, started weed eating around the lady's house. And when he walked back around, he looked, and this was hanging down just like that. And see, the weld right there broke loose. And it broke, it broke right there. That right there is inferior welding. And that is inferior metal. Because see, the front part here is not welded. It's one solid piece. Same thing over here. It's one solid piece and it broke. Ariens, this is unacceptable. You asked me to give you a video showing my areas of concern. Well, I'm going to show you my areas of concern. And I'm going to do it the best way I can. My areas of concern are from here to here. The whole damn thing. The whole thing. This machine is a pile of junk. It's made, obviously, with inferior steel, inferior parts, and I don't know if your engineers, and I've talked to the engineers, I don't know if your engineers cut corners, but I'm going to tell you something right now. It is nowhere near the quality of that machine right there. Yes, that's a full-blown commercial machine. This is a, quote, I'm using air quotations, residential machine. But this machine is nowhere near the quality of my Craftsman Z6400. And you ought to be ashamed. Guys, I am not a hard person to please. When I got that Craftsman, it had 149 hours on it. And I put over 700 hours on it myself. And the man that bought it from me, he's still using it. Now, what does he do with it? His family owns about 100 rental properties, and he uses that machine to cut some of his rental. I'd say probably a third of his rental properties. And he mows with it every day. He told me about 5 weeks ago, he mows with it every single day. And I asked him, I said, how many hours has it got on? He said, oh, it's got over 1,000 hours on it. Still got the original motor, still got the original transmissions. I put the deck under it myself. He still got that under it. And the forks, the bearing, well, let me back up. That machine did not have bearings. It had bushings. It had brass bushings in the front hubs. I had it for 3 years, put over 700 hours on it, and I replaced the bushings one time. One time in 3 years. One time. This machine has 143.9 hours on it, and you saw the condition of the bearing, the hub bearings. And I don't know what else to do other than replace them. But I've got to spend tomorrow fabricating metal to fix that issue. And what I'm going to do, until Ariens calls me, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to buy another machine. It's going to be a Gravely. I'm going to buy another machine, and I'm going to park this one, and I'm only going to use this one only on the occasion that one of mine are broke down. Because with these videos out there, I'm in a catch-22 situation. Nobody is going to buy this machine. They wouldn't even give me $500 for it unless they're not YouTube savvy. And to be honest, I'm going to take my glasses off because I want you to see my eyes. And to be honest, I wouldn't sell it to anybody that I know anyway, because I would not want them to have to go through the headaches and the turmoil and the aggravation and the frustration that I have had to endure since buying this piece of crap. Now, I'm just being honest. I would not do that to any of my friends or family. And I consider you guys family. So, that being said, I hope and pray you will take my challenge and call Ariensco, tell them you saw this video, and they need to step up to the plate and make this right. Because this is not a dealer problem. This is a manufacturing problem. This is a manufacturer's responsibility to make the customer happy. That's all I'm going to say. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you if you were leaning towards getting an Ikon, don't. Take my word for it, don't. Buy a Gravely. They have homeowner grade Graveleys, or you can, my suggestion is, get a Gravely HD. If you have a ½ acre or more, get a Gravely HD. They're far superior to anything that Ariens has on the market. And when I say Ariens, I mean the mowers that they have with the orange paint. Again, I wouldn't kick a bull in the butt for a truckload of them. So, that's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you understand now why the title of this video is what it is. Because this should not be happening. I am beyond pissed. This is ridiculous. But anyway, this is Brian with Big South Outdoors TV, reminding you to live big, live southern, and live outdoors. Until we meet again, folks, have a good one.